Christopher Columbus was born in Genoa, Italy in 1451. He was the son of a wool merchant and a weaver, and although his parents wanted him to also become a weaver, he did not share his parents' enthusiasm. As a child, Christopher had always dreamed of sailing away on a ship and finding treasure, and at the early age of 14, Christopher got his wish by joining a crew of a ship. Unfortunately, at the age of 25, one of his ships had a very unfortunate encounter with the Portuguese shore. But this incident didn't shake Columbus's spirits. As soon as his brother helped him back onto his feet, Columbus began to dream once more of what he could find across the ocean. And soon an idea popped into his mind, based on a theory that Asia is closer by going across the Atlantic. Nobody had really tried it out, but Columbus wanted to be the first one. And so he presented this theory to the King of Portugal himself. Unfortunately, the king didn't share his enthusiasm, even though he was presented with fame, fortune, and lots of money. So Columbus, being ever so loyal, headed off to Portugal's rival, Spain, where he presented his idea to the king and queen. Spain wasn't very enthusiastic about the idea, but finally they came through and decided to allow sponsorship for the voyages. Columbus was soon faced with a new problem. He couldn't find a crew. Most people believed that his theories of the Atlantic were a little bit misguided. But finally, he got his crew, and he got 3 ships, the Santa Maria, Pinta, and the Nina. The crew and Columbus were faced with a long and difficult voyage, and soon the crew became tired of sailing for so long. So the crew threatened to mutiny, and to keep them going, Columbus told them lies about distance and time to build their morale. And soon after, Columbus's efforts were paid off. Someone finally found land. They spotted an island, and they saw people on the island. They believed this island to be in the Indies, which was believed to be near Asia. So he called the people on this island Indians. He began to try to communicate with the natives so that he could find gold, as this was the reason why he came in the first place. The natives believed that he came from heaven, although they were soon to find out that he was far from that. The natives began to swim out to his ship and started trading goods with Columbus and his crew. Columbus wrote in his diary, quote, "They brought us parrots and balls of cotton and spears and many other things. They were well built with good bodies and handsome features." Columbus brought back some of the items from the natives and natives themselves as slaves. Columbus had promised the king and queen of Spain that he'd come back with a shipload of gold and spices. Unfortunately, all that he could bring back was a little bit of gold and slaves, and Queen Isabella wasn't so fond of the slavery idea. But Columbus insisted on what he had found was Asia, so the king continued the sponsorship of his voyages, although he was becoming more and more angry at Columbus for not bringing back anything to show for his work. Columbus was allowed 4 more voyages to what they thought was the Indies, although he never brought back a shipload of gold. And on his deathbed, he still believed that what he had found was Asia. Columbus could have never known that what he actually found was a new world.